Taliban and al-Qaeda fighters have been using Pakistan's federally administered tribal areas, FATA, as a sanctuary and staging ground for strikes against the U.S. and NATO troops in Afghanistan. Attacks were up sharply in 2008 over the previous year. Analysts say Barack Obama will have to find a way to pressure Pakistan to crack down on the militants without undermining the country's newly minted democratic government, while also shoring up the fragile Afghan government. During the presidential campaign, Mr. Obama said he would be willing to attack Taliban and al-Qaeda sanctuaries inside Pakistan.
If the United States has al-Qaeda, bin Laden, top-level lieutenants in our sights, and Pakistan is unable or unwilling to act, then we should take them out.
The United States has already responded to the heightened insurgency with more strikes by unmanned Predator drone aircraft and at least some covert cross-border attacks in FATA by elite special operations units. U.S. officials neither confirm nor deny these reports. But these strikes have triggered anti-American protests in Pakistan, and some analysts say generated sympathy for the militants. Maliha Lodi, a former Pakistani ambassador to Washington and London, says the attacks have created what she calls a deficit of trust.
It is having a completely counterproductive effect in Pakistan because it is turning public opinion against the United States. It is making it very hard for the new democratic government to try to elicit public backing for counterterrorism.
The Taliban came into being with help from Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence Directorate, the ISI, which wanted to gain influence in Afghanistan. How much, if any, official Pakistani intelligence the Taliban now receives from the ISI is a matter of debate. Pakistan denies sponsoring any insurgent groups. Maliha Lodi says Pakistan is being made a scapegoat for failures of U.S. policy and the fledgling Afghan government.
So really a series of strategic errors, lack of clear objectives, military missteps, and misplaced priorities pushed the war and exported the insurgency into Pakistan. There is no question about that.
Pakistan's newly elected government of President Asif Ali Zardari is credited by Afghan officials as being more committed to getting tough with terrorists than the preceding government of General Pervez Musharraf. Yet Afghanistan's ambassador to the United States, Saeed Tayyab Jawad, says he is not sure that Pakistan's army shares the government's commitment.
The problem here is that we have a civilian government that is committed to fight extremism with limited capabilities. We have an army that is capable of fighting, but with very little commitment to do so because they perceive other enemies more important than extremism in Pakistan.
U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates, who will stay in his post in the Obama administration, says the Pentagon will send up to 3 combat brigades to join U.S. and NATO forces already in Afghanistan. Some 30,000 American troops are in Afghanistan now. However, Ambassador Jawad says it is not merely a question of reinforcements.
It's not just the number of the troops that it counts, it is also how well they are equipped. Do they have the helicopters? Do they have the combat enablers? Are they constrained by national caveats, by restrictions that they impose on themselves? Yes or no?
The ambassador says the Karzai government will continue to pursue a parallel political strategy of trying to negotiate peace with at least some Taliban elements. However, he says that outside support for the Taliban has to stop if talks are to be successful.
But if the sources of foreign support cease to be delivered to Taliban, we will see a lot more willingness on their part to quit violence and to join the political process.
But the issue of Pakistan's alleged support for Islamic militants has been further aggravated by Indian charges that the recent attacks in Mumbai that killed more than 170 people were planned by radical Kashmiri Islamists operating out of Pakistan. Gary Thomas, VOA News, Washington.